Toon Jam. Toon Jam.
Hello, and welcome to Toon Jam. I am Matt.
And I'm J-Man.
And today we are talking about Helluva Boss. That's right, Helluva Boss. Have you heard of it before? Don't answer me because I can't hear you. But if you haven't, I've got some information for you. Helluva Boss is an American adult animated web series created by Vivian Vivzipop Medrano. It revolves around the misadventures of the employees of IMP, an assassination company in hell. The pilot was released on November 25th, 2019, while the first episode of the first season was released on October 31st, 2020. The show is produced by Spindlehorse Toons. The first season was released exclusively to Medrano's YouTube channel, as she has done for other animations. On November 13th, 2021, the show was confirmed to be renewed for a second season. So interesting stuff. So yeah, this is a YouTube series. You know, we've done one YouTube episode before, I believe.
Yeah.
Long Gulch, was it?
That's it. Yeah.
Oh no, we've done. What was the other one we did?
We did. Yeah, that was on YouTube.
Burger one.
Yeah, Big Top Burger was on
Big
there.
Top Burger. Yeah. We've been quite successful with them previously. So let's see how this turns. It doesn't have a Rotten Tomatoes rating. So unfortunately we can't enjoy the guesswork on there, but it does have an IMDb rating. So let's take a guess. It's 3.3 thousand reviews on IMDb. So what do you think it has?
I'm gonna go 6.8 on there.
Okay. I can tell you are a digit off there.
But no way.
It's 7.8.
7.8.
Yeah. So there you go. So you know, that's a fairly good rating, though.
That is a really good rating. Yeah.
You know, for IMDb. So I imagine a lot of fans have taken to there to rate it. What about had you watched this before?
No. I'd heard of it through the grapevine. I guess there's a lot of shows on YouTube and stuff, but like unless someone gives you a nod or something, you're not to know, are you? Really? And it's not really a place I'd naturally go to kind of look for a show. I know what I always say at the end of the episodes, but we do love when you guys give us recommendations. So if there's anything obscure that you think you'd like people to watch or whatever, just send it our way. We'll definitely be up for reviewing it. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd never heard of this. Same reason. It's not somewhere that I would naturally go to watch. I mean, that YouTube. A lot of people just watch it as TV, don't they?
Yeah.
First. But we just tend not to. We're old school like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we are pretty old school.
We stick to old school streaming platforms.
Yeah. So old school streaming.
Yeah.
It's like,
so just monthly services.
Yeah. None of this free stuff.
Yeah. But there you go. So okay, so it's new to us. It's new to us. I can say notably, as far as cast goes, is it Richard Stephen Horvitz?
Yeah, Richard Horvitz. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't really recognise anyone else in it.
No, neither did I. He was the only one I was like immediately like, oh yes.
I know one of the voices is the co-creator. Is it?
Yeah.
Brandon Rogers, but Richard Horvitz, obviously Invader Zim. And Psychonauts, Billy and Mandy.
Yeah.
Always fun to see.
Yeah.
Richard Horvitz and stuff. So that was cool. But yes, okay. Well, yeah. What's Twitter got to say about Helluva Boss?
Yeah, Twitter is full of Helluva Boss fans, brimming with them. In fact, I mean, I suppose if you watch your content on, maybe on your laptop or something, then I guess it's not too far to then report that you enjoy it on, on another tab.
Yeah.
Could be done, maybe some people had it open, they were tweeting live while they were watching it and stuff.
Yeah, probably.
These things happen. We've got Pink Apad who says, I started watching recent episodes of Helluva Boss and I love it. Embarrassed-faced pow emoji, I think. And little nifty. And there's some fan art there as well. There's a lot of fan art.
Obviously this is an audio medium, so we can't show you. But
no, I did have to sift through a lot of fan art to get there. But I mean, that's good. People obviously really like the show, and they like the characters, and they want to draw them. So I take that just as an overall Twitter likes it. But we also have Cloud Lion 004 who says, "I miss Helluva Boss so much." Sad face.
Oh,
so they've clearly watched them all and are waiting for this next season. Just wait.
Well, it has been renewed,
and it hit them so hard that they were like, "I need to tell people my feelings right now." Helluva Boss related.
Well, it must be tough if you're that into it, because there's only like 8 episodes.
Yeah, it just hurts them so bad. Yeah. They're like, just maybe, I don't know if they tweeted that to the creators, just hurry up a little bit. Like, look, I miss it. Let's fire this one up. Come on. We've got Lanky Goat NSFW. So questionable content from this fellow. I don't know why I should do fellow. Goats can be ladies too. So, am I the only one who likes Helluva Boss way more than Has Been Hotel? Like, no hate to HH, but HB better resonated with me. Lol. So I think maybe I guess there's a lot of, other than fan art, there's a lot of discourse between Helluva Boss and Has Been Hotel, which is one of the other ones, the side, like the story or whatever. There's like a spin-off.
They're both by Vivian Madrano, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they seem to exist in sort of a similar. Is it the same world?
I think it's the same universe. Yeah. Same world, but there might be characters that cross over or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that I guess that's a constant thing ongoing now. One is better than the other.
When there's 2 things, people have to argue over which one's best.
That's true. We see it all the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I suppose for those of you that, are waiting out for Helluva Boss season 2, there's always has been, I guess, a little something there.
Yeah.
Don't know
but
how
that also equally, you might be really rubbing the salt in some people's wounds there.
That's true, actually. Yeah. Sorry about that. And finally, we've got Servant Saihara, who says, 9:30 in the morning, and I've already seen Helluva Boss NSFW, which is not safe for work, by the way. I expletive hate this app so much. So yeah, there's a lot of that on Twitter as well.
Yes.
As far as fan art goes, a lot of the fans apparently want to undress the characters. So
do you know what? It always surprises me, like, and I guess this is a thing where when you're in touch with a lot of cartoon fans, there's going to be some that are those cartoon fans.
Yeah.
But it, like, Twitter is, you see a lot of it.
It's
like, whoa, did not expect that. I was just reading about the merits of Looney Tunes.
Yeah. this graphic scene. Yeah, it's bubbling with it. It really is the place to go. I mean, I guess DeviantArt was the place before, but I mean, I don't know. I think that's still going, right? But Twitter is like immediate feedback there from folk. So yeah, there's a lot of Helluva Boss related bad stuff out there. So yeah, weird one. So a weird fan base so far. Very strange.
But hey, you know, it's got a fan base.
That's it. That's
So,
it.
you know, who are we to judge? Okay. Well, okay. Let's talk about Helluva Boss. We watched the pilot and episode 1.
Yeah.
I must say there was a notable difference between the two.
Mm.
The pilot, I got to say, I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, same here.
I'm amazed they made a show out of it, to be honest.
I know, it didn't really serve as a great pilot, I wouldn't have said.
No, it just seemed like an introduction to the characters through Family Guy style cutaways.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I don't know. We've talked about it before. We don't. It's a bit cheap, isn't it? Like nowadays, we're past that.
We're beyond that, guys. Come on, it's 2022 now.
Yeah. I mean, this was 2019. Still pretty late in the game.
Yeah. 2019. We were past that. We were way past that.
We were past that, yeah. So come on, but yeah, like, as a story, there didn't really seem to be one.
No.
As an introduction to the characters, I didn't feel like it was a very good one. For some characters, I felt like I got from that, but the first episode felt more like it knew what it was going for.
Yeah, it felt like an episode, didn't it? Like there was a story as far as like events that happened in sequence that you could understand. Yeah, unlike the pilot. And yeah, it did seem to sort of like be like, oh, this could be. I could see that this could be a formula that they could work with, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Started to understand kind of the concept behind the show a lot more from the first episode instead of the pilot, which I thought was pretty like it's pretty interesting. It's a little bit. I mean, I guess it's not entirely original, but it's different, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
you know. So it's I can see like, oh, this could be pretty fun. And I mean, especially the sort of twists and turns in the first episode was definitely like, oh, this could maybe, you know, I could see they could get some sort of length out of this, I guess, because you know things weren't always straightforward necessarily.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
I think it, from what I've seen, just looking sort of for information on it, one of the things that constantly seems to be addressed is the inappropriateness of the humour. And I think this show in general, I can see it's aimed at a very, very specific audience.
Yeah.
It's like some shows you see and it's like, oh, this is suitable for everyone.
Yeah.
This show, I don't feel like is one of those shows.
No.
It's aimed specifically at, I would say, you know, late teenager, early 20s.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The college kids.
The college kids, and college kids in the UK, at least, if you you know, not a UK listener, that goes from 16. 16 to 18 to beyond. That is, you know, you can obviously
depends how long you stay at college, I guess. But,
yeah. Well, essentially we're saying 16 up, aren't we, really?
Yeah.
And it's got a kind of like, it's very, the way it looks as well, the art style is very of that crowd. Like they wear similar things, don't they?
Yeah.
Like I would say it's inches off steampunk. You know what I mean? It's like it's emo style, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. It's got a very emo kind of aesthetic.
Might be offending people saying that.
No, I mean, like I think
don't think they're emos, or
especially is dressed in, you know, what that kind of stuff. Like she shops at a specific type of store.
Yeah.
And it's called Hot Topic.
And then one of the characters is essentially a furry character.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Luna as well. Yeah, that's
again.
I've seen enough of that character just trying to get those Twitter quotes. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I mean, because it's almost like that's why it's again catering to that audience, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they probably knew in advance, like, how do we get the NSFW crowd to just fill Twitter with this type of stuff? And it's like, oh, we'll create a character that looks like this.
Yeah.
And there you go.
I mean, taking that out of it, like just going back to the art style of the show, did you like that?
I mean, I think it's sort of modern enough, and I think sometimes it kind of felt a bit messy, but it was all right. Like, I think that it's sort of different enough from other sort of things about. Like, I think you can pick it out from a crowd, can't you?
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, it's all right. Like, it's pretty. When it was animated as well, like, it was sleek enough. So it probably wouldn't be what I'd choose, if I had a choice of all art styles, but it was something that I was like, yeah, it works for the show. I think, like, it works for what it was. What about you?
Yeah, I'm not really sure how I felt about the art style. I did like it. It had, like, sort of reminded me in parts of old sort of 50s style cartoons, and stuff like Earthworm Jim, Invader Zim.
Yeah.
I guess Billy and Mandy as well to a degree. I don't know if that was just the voice or if he just hangs around with people that draw the same way.
I know, yeah, this seems weird. Always there, always in that crowd.
Just make sure it's animated to a certain style and he's in.
Yeah. I know, because I was actually thinking, like, when I saw the profile of like one of the characters, I was like, oh, they really looks like an Invader Zim character right now, like the way that their mouth is and stuff, and just the shape of the head and stuff. And then he started talking, and I was like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah. But yeah, it had elements of that I liked, but I think the thing I didn't get on with, and which I guess isn't really the art style, but to a degree is sort of the choices, that emo style, which is more of a personal preference. It's just not something I enjoy. In the same way, we've discussed like 80s stuff in the past.
Yeah.
Whereas now, through osmosis, I guess I've started enjoying 80s stuff.
Yeah, it's real. A real transition happened. It was strange.
But now this is replacing my 80s.
Oh no!
I guess in a way it's that emo style, but I don't think it's terrible. I would be shaky middle on the art style to use something that we're used to. I don't really know how I feel. There's bits of it I like, there's bits I don't. But I think it fits in with the style of show it is.
Yeah, and I did like that it sort of changes as well. Like the in hell stuff has its own look, and then sort of when they go to Earth and stuff, where they like all the living people are a lot brighter, a lot happier, and like you can tell the difference in like which realm they're in, which I thought was cool. Like it didn't all just have a blanket kind of look. Like there's obviously tweaks and stuff, and like I did like that. I thought that was cool.
What did you think of the sort of the humour, which, like I said before, it has been sort of a bit lambasted, I think, through reviews, that it was inappropriate at times.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely some jokes that I was like, oh, I didn't realise we could say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it felt like it was really, it did that thing where it was like, oh, we're an adult cartoon now because we say naughty words. It did feel like that, especially. I think the pilot probably more maybe because
definitely.
Most of that was just someone talking at you sort of thing, and they were just trying to add as many swear words as they could into every sentence, it seemed, to the point that it was like detrimental to me understanding what this actual show was. So like if you'd just taken like 25 F words out of there, you could have put like plots or important information in there instead. So yeah, I didn't really get on with that. Like I didn't really find, because I mean sometimes swearing is funny. That's why in a lot of comedy and stuff, like there's a time and a place. But I think when every other word is that, it loses its meaning, its momentum, and everything. And so I didn't really get on with the characters that were kind of just sweary for the sake of it, really. And especially that those type of gags where it was like, oh, we're just trying to poke fun at this, or this is the worst way to say this particular thing. It was like, no, wasn't really a fan of that.
It was just a bit tasteless, wasn't it? Really?
It was, yeah. I think the discourse between the characters, I think some of that was way funnier than just them being like, oh, this will be fun if I say this. So there was moments where they were kind of it was like, oh yeah, that was okay. But on the whole, I think they could do with toning it down. I'd say that would be my
I agree. Like, and it's always weird because you kind of feel just like some old fuddy-duddy or something saying it.
Yeah,
but it's true, it does like derail the show a bit, and it kind of takes away from this, because I mean they're not long episodes.
No,
they're like 10 minutes long or something.
Yeah,
and it kind of just becomes the main focal point, and you're a bit like, well, what's this adding? Because you've done it that much that it's not really funny.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sort of like sexual humor as well in it.
Yeah.
And the way they handle that, I think, is probably a bit, again, tasteless. But I know that there will be a crowd that find it hilarious, and I think that's, again, you kind of feel like, well, this clearly wasn't made for me.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's made for, like, there's not many shows that are made for such a niche audience. But compare it to, say, Owl House that we watched a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
That felt like something that was made for a niche audience that anyone could enjoy. And if anything, it would sort of, include you. This doesn't feel like that at all.
No, this is like, it's in its own little box, and that's where it wants to stay, and it's it's echo.
I guess it's that's why it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
So they can just do that, make what they want, and here it is.
That's it.
But personally, I didn't get on with the humor at all.
No, it wasn't really my thing. I don't think. And what's weird as well is that, like, they obviously knew what they were doing with it, because there's those scenes where, like, the boss gets a core from that other thing, that weird entity, and like most of that is like, I guess it's like what they're saying is it's so vulgar they bleep it. So it's like the show is full of people swearing all the time, but then that's like super bleeped all the time. Which is just like, oh, so this just seems kind of strange. So yeah, and I think bleeping's funnier for some reason. I'm on team bleep. Because that way you don't necessarily hear what they say. It was bad. When also, like, sometimes your brain can make the wrong decision of what they said. So sometimes that's funnier. So like I do like shows when they choose to bleep it on purpose, because it's like, oh, it could still be a terrible sentence, but bleeping just, I don't know why it's funnier to me, but it is.
It just is.
Yeah. So there's that.
I think, I mean, like, with like swear words and stuff, it's a weird one. Some people, are happy to hear it all the time. Some people are offended by it. Some people just don't like it. It's such a strange thing, because obviously they're just words, but
it's just a cultural thing.
Everyone has a different reaction to them.
Personally,
like, I don't mind hearing them, but I think they should be used specifically and at the right time, because, like you say, they can be funny, and they should always be used for that, really.
Yeah.
Or like it should be used for a reason. Like this person is so angry they've sworn. Like,
Yeah.
and in a show that's kind of, even if you have a lot of it, sometimes it can you kind of don't notice it because it feels natural almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in
The
this,
right situation.
it felt like they were doing it, and we've talked about it before. It feels like they're doing it on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if it's just because from what you expect from an animation. So it is. But then you watch something like South Park.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where it's weird because they swear constantly throughout. But it kind of flows somewhat better.
Yeah, I don't know why that is, but it is. It's a timing thing. It's a purpose thing. Like, yeah. Whereas this felt like you're saying, unnatural, didn't it? To the point.
Yeah.
And that's when it sort of goes off. You've done something wrong there, I think. What did you think to the story overall?
Well, for the story, I'm just going to go off episode 1. At this point, I'm just going to say, trash the pilot.
Yeah,
that's in the garbage. And I would say if you want to watch it, don't bother watching that until after or something. I don't think you get anything from it, do you?
No.
But yeah, the story was all right. It was, I don't know. It was definitely. It was like, I guess they were trying to go with a moral for it in a weird way. And they've kind of got like one character that's nicer than the rest. But it just doesn't really play out the morals on it, and I don't really know if they're just using them as a joke or if there's even a reason behind them, if they just think it needs one and they're trying to add one. Or if I'm just missing it entirely. But the premise, I guess, is interesting. It's like devils going back to Earth to kill people that have died, want revenge on. Which is, it's not something I've seen before. It's an original concept. But I think the trouble for me is that I don't really like the characters.
Yeah.
I just find them all a bit irritating in their own ways, and it just doesn't. I don't know. They're all so unlikable, which to a point I think they're supposed to be. But it just, I don't know. I think it doesn't help that visually I don't like them anyway.
Yeah.
So I think if you like the style, you'd be more accepting, is what I'm trying to say, really. Like, it's just not, it wasn't doing it for me. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think the concept itself is like, oh, that's interesting enough that you could go in for a little bit, but I thought it was fun that they sort of they showed straight away in episode 1 essentially like that these guys are demons, but then there's humans that are seemingly worse than them. So that was like, oh, okay, yeah, like it's not all it's not cut and dry sort of thing. But I liked how the perceptions of those characters kind of changed, and just how bad the people kind of got, as we had like the teacher that was super nice, and then she immediately switched and was like not nice at all. And so I found the sort of the other characters more interesting than the main ones, really. I think that was the issue. Because I mean, I don't really mind the sort of aesthetic of it, but I didn't find anyone particularly likable. Even the main one that we're trying to get a moral out of, is it Moxie? Is that his name? I think.
Moxie, yeah, that's it.
Even it was like, they're still kind of annoying though. Like, even though it's like, oh, they tried to have a heart or whatever. I still wasn't so like, I still could do with like not having to see them for an episode, to be honest. So I think that may be where its trouble lies, is the people you're watching, and I don't really feel anything positive towards most of them. I'd say pretty much all of them. Yeah,
it's definitely, I can't say it enough. There's people that will love it, and there's people that won't. It's like a Marmite show, isn't it, in a way? Okay, well, I mean, we've discussed it. We've talked about it, the ins and outs. Shall we move on to our reviews? Bite the bullet. Welcome to Toon Jam. This is the College After Hours edition. Today we're watching beep 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 beep. What's Twitter saying? Beep 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 beep. Your thoughts on this? Beep 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 beep. Let's go to reviews. Beep 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 beep. Thumbs up. Beep 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 beep. Thumbs down. Beep 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 beep. Stay jammy. Okay, so here at Toon Jam we have a 3-point rating system that goes as follows. Thumbs up, finding cartoons everywhere.
Mm.
You can just go anywhere now and find a cartoon. It's just wonderful.
What a place. What a place to be.
Thumbs down, I guess rape humour.
Mm.
That's always a thumbs down, really, isn't it? Let's be honest. And shaky middle. Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, the beats.
You know what I'm saying? So good, bad. I'm in the middle on that one.
Mm.
So, Helluva Boss, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it definitely. We said before about shows that kind of lean into their thing. This is definitely doing that. I think it, in a way, more than most shows, it knows its audience and it is trying to cater to those. And it's got a different look and style. It doesn't look like you've heard us moan about adult animation or having one style. It does look different. It's got a bit more of a kind of a dynamic look. And like I said, they do make some cool art choices with some of the themes that they've got. The characters, not great, we get introduced to 4 or whatever, and I just don't really want any of them to be on screen at any time, which is it's not really great going forwards. You've got to watch however many episodes of this. I kind of need something to grab hold of there, and there wasn't really anything endearing about anyone. I like the concept. I do like the look of it, but there's really not anything keeping me in there, because I'd rather not watch most of it than watch it. I think maybe just the version that I'd like would just be snippets of what people had done wrong and how they'd ended up in hell, as opposed to following the demons all around, because I don't really care for the demons. So I don't think I'm in no rush to go back and watch more of it. So for me, it's gonna be a thumbs down for Helluva Boss.
Thumbs down. Okay, yeah. It's a difficult one to sort of rate this one, because I just didn't like it myself. But I know that there will be people that love it.
Mm.
And it's kind of hard to sort of separate yourself from it. I do think, for saying, it's a YouTube cartoon as well, it's free to everyone. The art style, though not 100% my cup of tea, I didn't find it terrible. And again, it's very stylized, and it's quite good, really. The animation is also pretty good, especially again for a free cartoon. But those problems with the characters were there, the problems with the scripting and the humor, and they didn't suit me at all. I just really didn't. Again, the same as you, just didn't enjoy it and wouldn't watch more. I'm going to say, before I give it a rating, if just look at a picture of it, look at something of it, even if it's just the picture for this episode. If it interests you, you'll probably like it. But personally, on my opinion, I'm also a thumbs down.
Oh boy.
So, but I know it's something. Again, it's a Marmite show, I think. there's definitely problems with it.
Yeah.
That I will, but I think a lot of it is just down to personal opinion on what you want out of your stuff, and this just do it for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a show I could enjoy in there, but it's never gonna make those changes for me because I'm not his core audience,
Yeah.
So it's like, well, there's no need for them to do that. But I like elements of it, but just if I don't want to sit and watch it, then it's done something wrong there. There's an error. So yeah.
And if you are going to watch it, go from episode 1.
Yeah, that's true.
If you can't get enough of it, then watch the pilot afterwards. But
yeah, not a great pilot as far as things go. No.
So there you go. That's 2 thumbs down.
Oh,
that's upsetting because we had a really good streak going.
Yeah,
possibly the longest we've had as well of that.
Really?
I'm just looking through this sort of. If not, it kind of just at least lived up to another one. So we had 4 thumbs up in a row.
That's good.
I think 5 might be our record in a row. But it's now bookended by 2 thumbs down shows.
Hell of a boss. What have you done?
Hell of a boss.
Straight to down as well.
Yeah. Full turn.
Yeah.
But we have been agreeing a lot more recently. So don't know what that says about us.
No.
Sinking opinions, apparently.
Yeah.
Who knows though? Maybe next week will be different. Maybe it'll be the same.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
Yeah, we'll be polarized next week. 1 up, 1 down.
Yeah. But maybe it'll be the same again. Maybe we'll be back on top. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So if you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to rate and review us. It really helps us out, or share with a friend. Maybe you disagreed with us and you want to tell us why. Feel free to do so on the 3 Helluva social medias. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Toon Jam Pod. We do like to hear your opinions, and we know we're not always right. So let us know. Let us know what you think, and we can have a nice little conversation about it. Otherwise, like I said before, if you want to check out old episodes, you can go to our YouTube page, and that's Toon Jam Pod as well. We also have a Patreon with bonus episodes too. And if you want to get some Toon Jam merchandise, t-shirts and all sorts, head over to our store, which is bit.ly/Toon Jam shop, and you can get yourself some cool stuff on there. Otherwise, all that's left to say is, once again, thank you for listening. And until next time, you stay beep.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. If you want to help the show keep going, you can be extra jammy by heading over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/toonjampod. Here you can get a shout out on the show or unlock bonus episodes. Ratings and reviews anywhere you listen to the podcast also really help us out. So thank you, and stay jammy.